This is Caleb and Sophia. It's a cartoon created by Jehovah's Witnesses intended to propagandize to children. Now, they start out by saying it's just good life lessons for anybody. I've got the list here. They got things like be humble or making friends, be truthful, lying is wrong, things like that. Just good life lessons, right? And for that reason, when they go knocking on doors, they tend to bring a kid with them from time to time. And if there's another kid at the householder's door that they knock on, they'll give them their phone to watch Caleb and Sophia videos. Just nice life lessons for anybody, right? This episode is titled The Steps to Baptism. Now, I don't know what it was like to get baptized in your church, but Jehovah's Witnesses take it very, very, very seriously. So if we have time at the end, I'm going to talk about some of the things involved in getting baptized as a Jehovah's Witness. It's basically the line between, will my parents stop talking to me for the rest of my life if I do something that they don't like? Or will they continue to have some semblance of a relationship with me? Now, if people want to get baptized into the Jehovah's Witness religion, you're basically signing a contract with them. I don't really have a problem with that exactly, as long as they're fully informed, as long as they understand the consequences of their actions, and as long as they're over the age of 18 at least. Now, in this video, how old is Sophia supposed to be? 10? 11? 12? I know the Watchtower Society has praised children as young as 8 years old for getting baptized. You're effectively signing a lifelong contract with an organization when you get baptized. A contract that will ruin your life if you break it. I was, I think, 14 years old, and I haven't talked to my mom in 15 years. Not a real relationship with her. So, anyway, let's listen to this Caleb and Sophia video. We'll start at the beginning, the steps to baptism. See what they have to say here.
Wow, that looks like me.
Seeing herself in this photo of somebody being baptized. Doesn't really look like her at all, honestly, but okay.
I have a question.
What is it, my dear?
How do you get baptized?
That's a good question.
And an important one.
Like, everything here looks plastic, right? It looks like they're all acting really, really plastic. That's not, like, poor animation. That's how Jehovah's Witnesses act, really. They did a series of videos called the bunker videos. It's where they were hiding in bunkers from the government because they were after them or whatever. And it's like the perfect example. It's the example I always go to show you that these people are always plastic. It's not just a one-time thing. Remember, these people are hiding in a bunker from people coming after them. It's just embarrassing.
I just don't get it. Kevin knows we're in the Great Tribulation. Why would he say he doesn't want anything to do with us anymore?
Darren, I thought you had heard by now.
Heard what?
When our message changed from good news to judgment, he was telling everyone that it would make problems for us and that he was done.
Dude, so many fractal subjects to go down. I gotta stay on topic here.
I can't believe it.
See, they're all really bad actors, it seems. But they're portraying the same thing in this Caleb and Sophia video. It's not about bad acting, although they're probably bad actors too. It's about the fact that they're all plastic. Their personalities are plastic. You know, the thing that makes something a cult is behavior control. It's the creation of a personality through a system of rewards and punishments in a Pavlovian way. The idea is to create clones of each other. And this is the personality that's been cloned. This plastic, fake, smiley, upbeat kind of personality where nothing really gets to you. But deep down, it's eating them alive. Alcoholism and anti-anxiety medicine abuse is completely out of control among Jehovah's Witnesses. So the personality is only surface level. But anyway, let's keep listening. So they're talking about baptism here, right?
How do you get baptized?
That's a good question.
And an important one.
Mom looks so young in this picture.
Hey!
They're, again, like, this is propaganda. Every frame of this TV show, of this episode or whatever, every frame is here for a specific reason. All the way down to how old the characters look, the accents that they have, the clothes that they wear, everything. It's all there for a reason. They're trying to send a message, a subtle message, to their membership. And they just pointed the message out there. She looks just like me, and she's so young in this picture, and she's getting baptized. I.e., you should be getting baptized at as young in age as humanly possible. Now, what is Caleb and Sophia? What is this TV show, or who is it designed for? What age range? I would say between the ages of 4 and 8, right? Characters may be a little bit older, but that's roughly how old it targets. 4 and 8 years old. Hell, maybe 4 and 10. They want to start getting the idea in these kids' minds as young as humanly possible. That's what it's all about.
Mom looks so young in this picture.
Hey!
Oh, I guess it's a picture of her mom. Okay.
Yes, you can be young, like your mother. What matters is that you love Jehovah and want to follow Jesus' teachings closely.
You can show that you want to get baptized by what you do, like obeying your parents.
Learn about Jehovah by reading the Bible.
So I guess these are supposed to be Sophia's grandparents, and they are also Jehovah's Witnesses?
That will help you obey Jehovah and avoid things that Jehovah hates.
Okay, no, this is fascinating right here. This is deep lore. If you haven't followed my Caleb and Sophia series, I'll just give you a little insight into why they showed this. This is Sparlock, I believe. This is from the first episode ever. Apparently, it was episode number 2, lesson 2. My mistake. I thought it was lesson 1. Lesson 1 is obey your parents. Lesson 2 is obey Jehovah. So, Caleb, the idea is he comes home with this little doll here. You can kind of see it in his hand right here, right? Sparlock is the name of the doll. And it's supposed to be like the Hobbit, I guess, or a Harry Potter character or something. It's the equivalent, right? So he comes running in with it. Listen to the mom's reaction.
Oh no, it's Sparlock!
Caleb!
We need someone to save us!
Caleb.
Sparlock can activate your
Caleb.
magic, Sparlock!
Hi. How was school today?
Fine. Look at Sparlock's magic key!
Caleb, what toy is that?
It's Sparlock, the warrior wizard!
What?
Oh boy, she looks mad.
Oh, a warrior wizard.
Yeah, my friend gave it to me.
Isn't that called a paladin? I said that was entirely overpowered last time I covered this. Warrior wizards couldn't possibly exist because nobody could ever beat them, and somebody corrected me and said that's called a paladin, and there are definitely paladins out there. My mistake.
All the kids are going to see the movie. Can I see it too?
Oh, your friend gave this to you.
Ooh, she looks mad.
You look pretty excited about this. Why don't you come over here and get your snack, okay?
So anyways, middle, she talks to him about the warrior wizard and whether or not it's right for him to have it. So this kid is just taking part in culture, in life, getting to know his friends, and his friends are getting to know him, and they give him this toy that they're all playing with, and she wants him to throw it away, basically. How sad is that?
So what if you disobey Jehovah and play with toys he doesn't like? Do you think Jehovah will be happy or sad?
Snake, of course, in Jehovah's Witnesses' mind is the ultimate symbol of evil.
Sad.
Yeah. Do you want Jehovah to be sad?
No. I don't want Jehovah to be sad with me.
No, I don't want Jehovah to be sad with you either.
Like, how sick and manipulative is this, honestly?
So what do you think you should do with this toy?
threw this toy away. This toy that some kid at school gave him. And here we have Caleb and Sophia's mom depicting when she was getting baptized. She shunned things that Jehovah wouldn't like Sparlock. That's the point being made here.
Help you obey Jehovah and avoid things that Jehovah hates.
Like, Jehovah literally does not care if you like fantasy things, okay? I can tell you that for sure because he told me that. Also, Jehovah is not God's name. Never was. It was Yahweh. And the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses are not hearing the voice of Jehovah. Just want to put all of that on record.
Then you'll want to share your faith with others.
Especially in the ministry.
So go knocking on doors and spread, evangelize, spread the message. They love using child labor like that. It's like one of their favorite things, because who can resist a kid's big, beautiful eyes trying to give them something? You can't say no to a kid who is super excited for you to take that thing, right?
And at the meetings. Make friends with others who love Jehovah.
And most importantly, tell Jehovah in prayer that you want to serve him forever.
That's why...
Yeah, prayer is really one of the, God, what's the word I'm looking for here? One of the linchpins to baptism within Jehovah's Witnesses. They ask you a series of like 100 questions before you get baptized, which I'll probably talk about the process a little bit more in a minute. But the final piece of the puzzle, if you will, is praying to God and giving your undying soul to him in prayer or whatever. That's like, after you've done that, then you can be baptized, pretty much.
Tell Jehovah in prayer that you want to serve him forever.
That's why we get baptized in public. It shows others that we've dedicated our lives to Jehovah.
That's so cool.
Would you like to get baptized one day?
Why don't you learn a little more about the steps for baptism and share it with us at Family Worship?
Okay.
So they're starting her on a path now. This is a path that I went down too. This is a path that every young Jehovah's Witness goes down just about. Hell, even the ones that don't get baptized, they go down this path too, probably. Their parents are going to push it on them. So it starts out with, there are steps to this baptism, as they said. It takes about a year to finally qualify for baptism. And like I said, if you break any of the rules, if you smoke a cigarette, if you marry somebody who is not part of the religion, that one may not be disfellowship worthy. I think it just kind of depends. If you drink too much alcohol, if you refuse to use their Bible when, reading the Bible or participating at meetings or whatever, there is a whole host of stuff that you can get disfellowshipped for. And I can't stress enough how serious disfellowshipping is. It is life-ending. When I was about 8 years old, my dad got in a car accident. It wrecked his back. It wrecked everything. He couldn't work anymore. We lived in Connecticut. We moved to West Virginia because it was much, much cheaper to live there. And that's where my dad grew up. So we moved to West Virginia. And when we get there, we had nothing. My parents were fighting for SSD, Social Security Disability. And my dad was trying to sue this woman's insurance company that ran into him, basically, to try to get a settlement out of them to help us survive, basically. And I think he ended up getting like $100,000 out of it. And he took us on a trip to Disney. Anyway, I mean, he did some other things with it. But we ended up moving to West Virginia. We had nothing. We were dirt poor, broke. We weren't even getting Social Security Disability yet, to my knowledge. Maybe we were getting a very, very small amount. Or maybe we were just living off of like a small settlement my dad got from getting in the car accident. But we lived in a hotel room for about a month when we moved here. And I didn't have school supplies. I didn't even have a backpack. I had nothing. And the Jehovah's Witnesses in this area that I lived in at the time, not this one, but the one I lived in at the time in West Virginia, stepped up and bought me school supplies. They bought me a backpack. They bought us food. They got us into a place to live and everything. We got into a house, and they filled our cupboards with food. These are people that I have known since I was very little. People whose houses I've been to, people who I've spent countless Saturdays with, knocking on doors, going around neighborhoods, eating at Tim Hortons or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever with them. These are people I spent my entire life with. And because I smoked a cigarette when I was like 18 or 17, because I had a girlfriend who was on the outside of their religion in high school, they cut me off entirely for the rest of my life. I haven't spoken to them in 15 years at least. I went back to the Kingdom Hall once, and not one of them would look me in the eye. But they were awfully friendly to the girl that I brought with me at the time. They wanted to talk to her and be friendly with her because they thought maybe we can bring her into the fold, get her baptized, and then she can get him reinstated. That's what it's really all about. With Jehovah's Witnesses, it's all about bringing them into the fold. It's all about converting them. And if they have no interest in converting into Jehovah's Witnesses or back to Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't want anything to do with you, ultimately. So this is a serious contract that you sign. It's actually caused something called RTS, religious trauma syndrome. It's not like your standard, ooh, you lose or you leave your religion and you got problems because of it. It's not like that. It's a form of PTSD that forms out as the result of extreme situations playing out in your religious community, like losing everybody you ever knew or loved. I have nightmares because Jehovah's Witnesses, I have nightmares of Jehovah's Witnesses shunning me, not talking to me anymore, having to be in a situation where I'm standing in front of them and they avert their eyes. I jump at loud pops and stuff. Of course, I have PTSD for other reasons from my dad when I was little, but that's neither here nor there. RTS is a legitimate, full-blown form of PTSD, and Jehovah's Witnesses caused it by pulling the rug out from under me intentionally so that I would fall on my face and serve as an example to everybody around what's going to happen if they decide to leave. That's what Sophia is agreeing to right now in this TV show, in this cartoon here. That's what her parents are prepping her for. And what's the benefit of getting baptized? Got me? Nothing. There's no benefit. None. There is literally no point in getting baptized. Now, according to Jehovah's Witnesses, if you are not an active, door-knocking, baptized Jehovah's Witness, you're not going to make it through Armageddon. I'm sorry. I'm hard-pressed to believe that Jehovah's Witnesses know anything about the Bible. They're certainly not receiving special messages from God. They can't even get God's name right. They can't get nearly anything correct about the Bible. They get two things right about the Bible. The Trinity is not real, and hellfire is not real. Those are the two things that they are correct about. And they use that fact to bolster their credibility in every other area. Jehovah is not God's name. Never was. So I'm sorry. I don't trust a word out of their mouths. There is no reason to get baptized. So let me tell you a little bit about the process. When I got baptized, it started with me studying a book, not the Bible. They say studying the Bible. I wasn't studying the Bible. I was studying a Jehovah's Witness book with one of the elders, Larry. Again, I have feelings for these people, really, because they saw me through some hard times. My dad was pretty abusive to me. Of course, he was disabled, so he would call in to the Kingdom Hall and listen to the meetings. They hadn't perfected the phone system yet. Zoom didn't exist yet. So they had just installed this phone system. They didn't really know how to work it yet. And my dad didn't mute the phone and didn't realize that, all of that yelling and hitting and everything that he was doing was feeding back into the speakers in the Kingdom Hall during the meeting. Everybody at the Kingdom Hall heard my dad attacking me. They didn't do anything about it, of course. That's kind of on them. But the point is, these people knew me. They knew every part of my life, every detail. They were there through it. They saw it. They took me in, and they took care of me through all of it. And then they pull that rug out from under you, and it's over. I really want to stress how serious it is to get baptized and what you lose when you leave. You lose everything. Literally causes a form of PTSD in people. So, anyways, Larry, I start studying with Larry. He lost his wife to cancer, sadly, very young. So, anyways, I study with Larry. I'm reading this book called Organized to Do Jehovah's Will. It was a green book. It has all of the questions, all the fundamental Jehovah's Witness doctrinal questions that you need to be aware of to be baptized. Like, you have to understand why Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Jesus came back to earth in 1914 and why he chose Jehovah's Witnesses as his chosen organization in 1919. And you have to know the math and the verses they get it from and middle. You have to know all of it, basically. So that's what the book is intended to ensure. It's intended to make sure you know the answers to all of those questions. And at the back of the book, you take about a year to start at the front of the book, read about a chapter per week with your guy you're studying with, or your girl. Girls who are trying to get baptized study with women, and boys who are trying to get baptized study with the men in the congregation. Anyway, so when you make it through this book, at the end there are 100 questions. They call them the 100 questions. You have to answer all of them correctly before they allow you to get baptized. And if you do that, at the next convention, they hold 3 of them per year. You sit in in the chairs in the front row about 11 a.m. It's right before lunch. And they give a little talk about how you're dedicating your life to God and blah, blah, blah. And then they ask you 2 questions. The 2 questions have changed over the years. Here's question number 1. And this is asked by the person on stage to the crowd of maybe 50 people in front of him getting baptized. I was in that crowd. And you're supposed to audibly and vocally yell yes to both of them. Number 1, on the basis of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, have you repented of your sins and dedicated yourself to Jehovah to do his will? Yes. And then you go to question 2. Do you understand that your dedication and baptism identify you as one of Jehovah's Witnesses in association with God's Spirit-directed organization? Yes. And then you move on. In my opinion, this constitutes a contract, and I don't think that children should be allowed to enter into contracts without their parents' prior approval and a whole bunch of hoops that they should jump through. And the state should be involved to make sure they're not being taken advantage of or something. But anyway, those are the 2 questions they ask. And then, all of the people go to the bathrooms nearby and change into their swim gear. And then they all come and line up at the pool. I have a video of somebody getting baptized, actually. Serena Williams, Jehovah's Witness now. She got baptized. Here's a video of it right here. This is what happened to me. This is what I did. I step up, get in the pool, 2 elders there, and they have to dunk you in all the way to the very bottom, under the water completely. This is the exact position you hold, too. You hold your hand like this, and you hold your nose like that. She's doing it exactly as they instruct. All the way down, all the way up. It has to be complete. You have to go all the way under. That's like part of Jehovah's Witnesses' belief, part of their process or whatever. So anyways, that's the process for baptism. The 100 questions, I'll just give you like a little glimpse into what the 100 questions are. I think I've talked about them like long and long ago, but I'll just give you an idea of what they are. People wonder how long it takes to get baptized. Basically, it takes as long as it takes to get through that Organized to Do Jehovah's Will book. It's not that thick. It's a little book, but if you do like 2 or 3 studies a week, you can burn through it in like 3 months. If you're capable of answering the questions and the elders feel that you love Jehovah with all your heart, then they'll let you get baptized. There's a thing called the Australian Royal Commission that was commissioned with investigating Jehovah's Witnesses' mistreatment of children or mistreatment of child abuse cases, basically, fascinatingly. And they have a copy of a bunch of the evidence that they submitted against Jehovah's Witnesses. They have it on their website, including but not limited to the Organized to Do Jehovah's Will book that I was just talking about. Let me see if I can pull that puppy up. Okay, here's Organized to Do Jehovah's Will. This is the book you're supposed to study leading up to baptism. It's just general stuff. Let's look at the table of contents. Chapter 1. Okay, there are 215 pages apparently in it. It's pretty long. Chapter 1, Organized to Do Jehovah's Will. Recognizing Christ's role in God's arrangement. Remember those who are taking the lead among you, so obey the elders. How the congregation is organized and governed. They want to clarify the hierarchical structure. Overseers to shepherd the flock. Ministerial servants render valuable service. Ministerial servants are right under elders. There are maybe 12 elders per congregation. Ministerial servants are like their assistants, basically. Meetings that incite to love and fine work. So that's going to meetings, I guess. Ministers of the good news. Okay, the 100 questions are in this book, I remember. I think they're at the end. Yep, they are. Here we go. Right here. These are the 100 questions that I've got pulled up right here. Let's just glance through a couple of them so you have an idea of what's involved. You have to be able to answer all of these without looking at the book in succession, like on the spot. You have to be able to answer all of them. How should a Christian wife view subjection to her husband if he is an unbeliever? What is the proper attitude for Christians to maintain toward worldly rulers? What is the headship arrangement in the Christian congregation? I mean, they give the answers in scripture form to the questions, to what they believe here. So if you're curious, you can just kind of read through. By what visible means is Christ's headship represented in the congregation? Take a look at a couple others. What effect might our conduct have on our prayers? Why do Jehovah's Witnesses baptize in water those who embrace the Christian faith? And this verse is Mark 1:9, showing John the Baptist baptizing people, or baptizing Jesus, I guess, because that's what Jesus did, I suppose. How should a person conduct himself when getting baptized? Even after you get baptized, why will it be vital for you to maintain a good schedule of personal study and to share regularly in the ministry? So anyway, that's the general idea behind it. There's a lot more than just that I covered, but that's the whole bit. That's what being baptized is all about. And those are the consequences to it. And that's honestly why I find it deeply disturbing and grotesque that Jehovah's Witnesses would encourage a kid to get baptized. It's children that are watching this. They're trying to plant the idea in their heads. You know, my daughter used to go to my mom's. My mom wouldn't talk to me because I'm disfellowshipped, but she'd talk to my daughter. About 7 years old, my daughter starts coming home telling me she wants to get baptized. How twisted is that shit? You know, I said to her, you know what you'd have to do if you got baptized, right? You'd never be allowed to speak to me again. You can either get baptized or have a relationship with me. That's not my choice. That's your choice. You wouldn't be allowed to. I still want relationships with the Jehovah's Witnesses that I grew up with. I still want those friendships that I had. They refuse. So entering a child into such a life-changing decision like this is simply wrong. It may not violate any U.S. laws, but it certainly violates the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, Articles 18 and 20, I think, or 18 and 22. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. That's Article 18. You notice that bit at the front? This includes freedom to change religion or belief. And Article 20, everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association, and no one may be compelled to belong to an association. If it's not compelling somebody to belong to Jehovah's Witnesses, to threaten to tear their life apart if they lose, I don't know what you'd call it. You know, the thing about religion is it gets away with things, especially cults. It gets away with things that no other type of organization would get away with. You know, religions can form themselves into pyramid schemes if they choose. They can tell you, if you give me this money, then I will, blah, 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 whatever. If you give me this money, God will return it to you tenfold, knowing damn well that's not going to happen. And as a religion, it's protected. It's protected from prosecution, from any negative consequences at all. Why? Because it's a religion. Now, I don't have a problem with religion. I have a problem with the fact that it is so primed and open for being taken advantage of. That's really what a cult is, ultimately, an abusive relationship between an adherent and an organization, right? Gaslighting you, preventing you from talking to your friends and family, programming a new personality into you, the whole 9 yards. And they use religion commonly, specifically Jehovah's Witnesses, use religion as a protection, as a layer of defense against criticism. Why? Because it's a religion. They're protected. They can do whatever they want. Hell, they don't even have to turn in tax returns. As a religion, they don't even have to tell the government what they're doing with their money, let alone pay anything to the government. You know, nonprofit organizations, they don't have to pay a dime in taxes, but they at least have to file a return. You know, religions don't have to. They get so much freedom, which, you know what? Okay, I'm okay with that. The problem is that abusive organizations take advantage of that leeway, and Jehovah's Witnesses are a prime example of that. Anyway, let me know what you think about it in the comments. This Caleb and Sophia video, to me, is disgusting. Tell me what you think. Nericole, thank you for being a member for 6 months. That's awesome. It almost sounds like selling one's soul to the JWs. Yeah, that's basically what you're doing. You have to jump through all kinds of hoops to give everything over to this organization. Everything. You have to basically hand them a knife and turn around. That's what you're doing when you join Jehovah's Witnesses, when you get baptized. Real Pumpkin J, I got a letter from a local JW in West Virginia the other day. I guess she's counting time for writing me. Yep, she is. They haven't put in the effort to wander out here. Yeah, I know you live in the middle of nowhere, right? Yeah, they're counting time. They're supposed to get a minimum of, like, 2 hours a week, at least, bare minimum. Ideally, you would go in service on Saturday from, say, 9 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m., and then you'd go after the meeting on Sunday from, say, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., something like that. So you're looking at, what is that, 10 hours a week, maybe 12? You're looking at about 50 hours a month dedicated to Jehovah's Witnesses, knocking on doors, spreading the message. It's sad, man. Such a waste of life. You've got so much to do with your life. Don't do this. Find something better to do with your life, you know? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments.